Welcome to Honduras This Week Online News videocast from Monday, February 4th, 2008. This videocast is brought to you by Ministry Suites, Sweet Dreams. Toncontin Airport, highway or runway? Toncontin Airport in Tegucigalpa is well known for being one of the trickiest airports in the world to land. So well known, in fact, that one individual has actually taken the time to film a plane coming safely in to land at the airport, and subsequently posted it on the video website YouTube for everybody to see. Rest assured, however, only the best trained pilots are allowed to land at Toncontin Airport, and in most cases, a safe landing will often receive a rapturous applause from the relieved passengers. The main issue with the airport, apart from its physical location next to a sierra, is its surprisingly short and only runway, a mere 2,500 meters in length, which causes pilots to brake very fast when they are preparing to land. Read the full article by Tess Gohl and Carolyn Nell in the national section. Japanese volunteers arrive in Honduras. A group of 8 Japanese volunteers, sponsored by the volunteer programs of the Japanese International Cooperation Agency JICA, has recently arrived to Honduras in order to facilitate technical assistance in different professional fields. The volunteers will be providing their services for 2 years. 3 of the junior volunteers will be collaborating in the areas of elementary education, sewing, and music. The rest of the group includes 5 senior volunteers who provide input and expertise at the Professional Training National Institute in FOB. Read the full article in the national section. FARC, rights for Colombian rebels? El Comandante Chavez, buoyed by a fresh diplomatic victory in the Colombian prisoner for hostage crisis, launched a high-powered political bomb to the country's conservative government. Legitimize the narco-insurgency under the protection of the Geneva Conventions. The Venezuelan leader asked for a fundamental rearrangement of the guerrilla conflicts narrative and the legal operational framework under which the rebel forces function. He said they must be recognized. They are insurgent forces that have a political project. President Uribe, if you acknowledge the status of belligerent to the FARC, and the FARC accepts, the protocols of Geneva would be enforced, and the FARC would be forced to abandon kidnappings. Read the full article by James W. Bowden in the Central America section. Book review, Memories of My Melancholy Horse by Gabriel García Márquez. Todd Ellerson says, I have been on a little bit of a roll with Gabriel García Márquez as of late, as those who have kept up with both my movie and book reviews might agree. In my defense, he says, I only learned of his work and learned to appreciate his gifts to the world of literature recently. So, in my mind, I am making up for the lost time. Nonetheless, I will make an effort in the near future to share my opinions on other worthy writers as well. For now, it's another take on the Nobel Prize-winning Colombian author. Read Todd Ellerson's full book review in the cultural section. 3 billion lempira payment agreement reached between thermal energy companies and government. Government representatives and thermal energy generators met and agreed upon a deferred payment plan of more than 3 billion lempiras, the amount owed by the National Energy Company, ENE, to 3 Honduran thermal energy providers. Blackouts should have never been discussed, much less considered, said Oscar Galeano, president of the Honduran Council for Private Entrepreneurs, gov't, based in Tegucigalpa. Read the full story by Álvaro Morales Molina in the national section. The myth about volunteerism in Honduras. Back in 2002, President Ricardo Maduro wisely established the Agency on Volunteerism. Its official name was the Agencia Presidencial para el Voluntariado, and its director was a businessman by the name of Otto Martinez. The mission of the agency was to promote volunteerism in Honduras and strengthen the organized participation of society in the search for solutions to community problems. The idea was a good one because it sought to create a thoughtful system for inspiring, structuring, and coordinating volunteer efforts to help people in need in Honduras. It sought to dispel the myth that Hondurans do not naturally possess a spirit of volunteerism, the desire, willingness, and ability to give selflessly of themselves and their resources to others. I say it's a myth because it is not based on reality, but rather on an unfortunate stereotype of Hondurans being apathetic. Read the full article by Márquez in the National section. Health matters. Physical therapist versus sports physical therapist. What's the difference? Dr. Yvonne Van List, a certified sports physical therapist in Honduras, writes her first article about health issues and explains the differences between a sports and a regular physical therapist. You might think the only difference is that sports physical therapists only treat sports-related injuries. That's close enough, but there are some distinctions. Find out more about these differences in the National section. The traditional biofuel, firewood, Part 1. Wars, invasions, and the death of millions. This is a high price to pay for an addiction to oil. A power outage can shut down 400,000 air conditioners and turn tons of ice cream into pasty mush. Petrocaribe alliances create hysteria. We respond to these. But who cares about firewood? The answer, at least 3 million Hondurans who use it every day. The privileged classes, a much higher percentage in the industrialized world, run their homes on electricity with the addition of piped-in natural gas in some situations. Lower on the socioeconomic scale, bottled propane gas and kerosene cut into electricity use. As we descend the class and money scale, we see electricity fall from use, then propane, and finally kerosene. But even before we had barely begun our descent towards poverty, a traditional biofuel had entered into the energy pool, firewood. Read Part 1 of this interesting article by Robert Conklin in the National section. Utila. This diminutive, funky island, still going strong, is the premier diving destination specially for budget-conscious divers and those seeking a decidedly laid-back, low-price vibe. After just a few days on the island in January, here are some observations and recommendations on getting the most out of your trip, including how to get there, what to do, where to stay, where to eat, where to drink, and where to chill. Howard Rosenzweig tells us more in the Copan Update in the Travel and Tourism section. This has been your online weekly update for Honduras. I'm Nicole Marder for Honduras This Week Online. It was a great pleasure being with you, and we'll see you next week for more news.